Hello, Chris, and welcome to Yash. You've arrived in our city for a while now. So, how does the city seem to you? What is your impression of the people that you have seen here? How do you find the atmosphere in Yash in these first days of November?
I have to say it's absolutely beautiful. It's got a very dynamic vibe. There's so much history, so much beauty. The people are wonderful, and especially the colours of autumn. I've never experienced anything like this before.
What brought you to Yash is the Quo Vadis Film Festival. So how did you feel when you received the invitation to come to this festival? And what do you think of this idea of organizing such a festival in Romania?
Well, my first reaction was great excitement and a great feeling of being blessed to be part of this community and a global community of creative Orthodox people. It's wonderful, and the fact that there is such an event where we can bring Orthodox filmmakers together and share it with audiences, it's something which is very important and needs to be done, and more needs to be done like this. And for Romania, it gives Romania an opportunity to tell their stories as well and to provide the Romanian perspective on creative process as well, which is really wonderful.
Mm-hmm. This year's festival, this first edition, is under the motto of freedom. So what would be your main expectation from this event?
That's a good question. Well, I came not knowing what to expect, but one thing that's been a huge advantage for me to understand the theme of the festival is I've been traveling through Romania for the last almost 10 days before the festival, and getting to see the history of Romania, both pre-communist and post-communist. It's given me a lot of perspective on what real freedom is. And coming from a Western society of Australia, we have these sort of preconceived ideas of what freedom is, but real freedom is being an authentic human being. And I find that when we examine it from a Christian perspective, to know what real freedom is to be a real authentic human being, which is a lifelong process. Mm-hmm. It can only really be achieved with a relationship with God.
Wonderful, yes. So what do you think is the role of art and of film in particular in exploring and understanding the concept of freedom in the contemporary context?
Well, film is, first of all, an experience. It's about sharing stories with an audience. And I feel that it's about enabling history to be explored and to be shared and to be felt. So I would say that through cinema as an art form, we're able to recreate those moments, those pinnacle moments and emotions, so that we can better understand the past.
So if we are to continue talking about what film can do, in your opinion, how do you think film can influence the public opinion on social and political problems in various parts of the world?
I would say that it enables people to reflect on their preconceived ideas, because it's very easy to be sort of told how to think. But I've seen some remarkable films at the festival so far, and I've been able to see films which have helped me re-examine what is true freedom. So I would say that the role of film is to give us an opportunity to reflect and to rethink our ideas of what we really think freedom is.
Mm-hmm. You're invited here in your capacity as the organizer of the Bison Fest Film Festival in Australia. So we are curious, how did you get the initiative of organizing such a film festival in Australia, of all places?
It's a long journey, but I'll try and keep it short. The inspiration for it was actually, at the time in the year 2013, there were quite a lot of online film festivals. Mm-hmm. So I guess a precursor to streaming. And I thought to myself, well, there's all these festivals happening. Why can't there be an Orthodox version? And at the time, I had travelled to Greece and Italy for the first time. And when I came back, I was told that my mother had advanced breast cancer. And the reason why it's important to mention is because as I was going through her chemo and all other treatments, I started to realise the importance of healing and art. And I thought to myself, I'm not going through the treatment, I'm not going through the cancer, but I'm still suffering indirectly, and maybe I could use art to help heal myself. So
art is a therapy.
It is a therapy, and it helped me a lot to get through it. And thank God my mother has got through the cancer and still with us. But what that then made me do is in the year 2014, I actually started the very first Bison Fest Film Festival. And since then, it's grown from being just not a streaming festival, but to being on screen and in many countries.
Mm-hmm. So what are the greatest challenges that you have faced so far in promoting Orthodox faith through film in the festival? But what would be the challenges in the cinema industry in general, not only in your particular case, but in general?
Yep, that's a very good question. To put the film festival together, that's not the most difficult part for me. The most difficult part is what happens after the festival, because I receive these films, these remarkable films, these great pieces of art, which are not just enjoyed by Orthodox audiences, but even by non-believers. And the problem becomes, and this is, I guess in general with any film that's an independent film, is the fact that where do you go after that? We don't have those big budgets that we can market, and how do we distribute the films? So it's really distribution afterwards that's a big problem. And I've discussed this with many of my Orthodox filmmakers, and it's a problem which none of us really have the answer, but we're trying to find a way.
Mm-hmm. So what experience have you accumulated so far by organizing Bison Fest? And how do these experiences help you professionally and personally? Why not?
Well, being involved in Orthodox cinema, it's taught me a lot about my faith and about the beauty of Orthodoxy, that it's a very dynamic and multi-layered faith, that it's one which encompasses everything. And I feel that if I wasn't involved in cinema, I wouldn't gain this insight. And it's wonderful that we could be co-creators with the creator. And it's taught me the ability to show beauty, both beauty that is pleasing and maybe beauty that's not pleasing in terms of hard truths. It's about revealing and to transfigure, to transform the individual. And how it's helped me professionally? Well, it's brought me to such wonderful events, such as where we are right now in Romania, and the ability to network with other filmmakers and professors and other just remarkable creative people.
Critics. Yeah,
yes, critics too, yes.
Very important also. You are a practicing Orthodox Christian, so how does your Orthodox faith influence your artistic approach and the topics that you explore through the festival that you organize?
I would say that it inspires me in terms of always going deeper, because with Orthodoxy, it's not a faith, or in this case a religion, which just is surface deep. You never stop learning. So how it's helped me is it's enabled me to go deeper and deeper into my faith and discover things which I couldn't understand when I was younger, but now I understand now. And it enables me to be in a community of people who are also on this journey. So I have fellow brothers and sisters in Christ who are learning, and we're learning together, and we're hopefully saving each other.
Hopefully, yes. How do you see the evolution of cinema, of Orthodox cinema, in the following years? Have you managed to identify some kind of trends or changes among filmmakers?
Well, in a nutshell, I would say that it's very exciting, and it's constantly evolving, and it's becoming very sophisticated. In terms of stories, we're getting a lot of stories from North America and also from Europe, but North America is a place where they're really experimenting with different genres, and I think it's also because there's many who are converts to Orthodoxy and they're involved in the creative industries, especially film, so they're giving us new perspectives. And I guess in countries such as Australia, we're still quite young as an Orthodox community, so unfortunately we haven't got as much to contribute, but there's a trend towards telling very diverse stories. I've noticed there's a real trend towards telling stories which have sort of a supernatural angle to it. That's just to help make it a bit more marketable and to communicate to non-Orthodox and even non-Christian audiences. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. What message would you have for the young filmmakers who wish to use movie as a way to, spread the faith and the Orthodox values in contemporary society?
Mm-hmm. Well, what I would say to them is that the industry is massive, it's global, and there are people who want to work with you, so you won't have any shortage of talent. Also, that just like any other industry, secular media industry, it's also difficult, but if you continue with it, you'll produce some remarkable work. And also that it doesn't mean that all your works have to be directly spiritual. I've spoken about this extensively at various talks, where it's about our Orthodox sporima, so that you could still produce something which, I don't like the term, but it's the only term I can think of, but you can make secular films in inverted commas, but you're doing it with Orthodox sensitivity, and you're taking an Orthodox approach to it. So you could still make an Orthodox film without any direct Orthodox content. Mm-hmm. So it's a very diverse and a very dynamic art form.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And now, if you were to think of yourself, now that you like Iași and Romania, if you were to think of yourself as a kind of ambassador of the festival, when you go back home, if you were to invite a colleague or a friend from the cinematic world to the next edition of the Quo Vadis Film Festival, what would you tell them? If you were to come up now with an invitation, what would it sound like?
I would say that they will be very blessed to come to Romania. It's a country with a history and a dedication to the faith, which I haven't seen before, and that they will be transformed and inspired, and to come and participate in what I will hope will be many more installations of Quo Vadis. They will become better filmmakers and also better Orthodox Christians.
Hopefully so. Well, thank you so much for this interview.
No, pleasure. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your stay in Iași
and
the festival, and do come back.
I look forward to.
Thanks.